WTOC.com, because we have this all listed for you there as well. I want to point out, we're with Buddy Carter, Congressman Buddy Carter. If you saw behind Marla there, the military
yes.
playing a big part.
Absolutely. Listen, the National Guard has sent over 1,000 troops out here, and they have just been outstanding in their relief efforts. And keep in mind, these are our neighbors. These are people from our community who serve in the National Guard and have just done a yeoman's job of helping during these times.
Hinesville, actually one of the harder hit areas, where a lot of their families live in Hinesville, and that, so that they took a lot of power, water, everything, trees, everything out.
We also heard during that news conference that today is the day we'll start seeing a lot of outside law enforcement showing up. In fact, I saw quite a few state patrol cars on the roads this morning, but that's coming in more and more as the day goes on today. Outside law enforcement, and then also outside power companies, neighboring power companies coming here. So we'll start to see that relief from our neighbors coming a little bit more today.
You talked a little bit earlier about the federal response to this, but a lot has been said both at the conference and then Marla too, as she wrapped up, about the FEMA response, which comes in at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Right. Do you have any insight into how that actually works?
Only that officials from FEMA will be here at 1 o'clock, and they'll be looking for the individual assistance, and of course that obviously will be individualized to each particular situation. But from my understanding, they've been pretty cooperative in the past, and you know, it's just encouraging. It's very encouraging. You know, this is obviously a disaster that we could have done without, but at the same time, out of this has come so many good things, and I've actually been encouraged by the response of FEMA and a government agency, a federal government agency. So I'm looking forward to them being in town, and they'll be there to help people and to make a determination whether or not they are eligible for individual assistance.
And is this the way it works? I mean, for them to be here so quickly, is that the norm? Is that good?
You know, no, there's no question about it. It is a good response time on behalf of FEMA, so we're very pleased with that.
But that relief, if it is available, also is a process. We heard, I think it was Lee Smith, county manager, saying it takes time. The money comes later. Now they do the inspection, they do the analysis, but any money that you get from FEMA, it will take a little bit of time to get.
Trust me on this, anything with the federal government takes time.
Just to be clear, though, this that they're coming in for today, this is to assess the individual public assistance. Right. This has nothing to do with what already has been set as far as the federal funding that you talked about earlier.
That is exactly right. We have already met 2 of the parameters and are eligible for that. We'll be getting that money. We're assured of that. This is for the individual assistance.
Congressman Buddy Carter's with us. We're going to take you out on the roads now because
Cutter Martin is out just checking out the roads. Cutter, how's it going out there?
We were at the International Trading Convention a couple of minutes ago. We did head over to a residential neighborhood here on Hutchinson Island, and we are driving now. A lot of tree damage. I was personally a little bit worried about water damage over here because we all know how high the Savannah River got, and you can see the trees down if we're taking a live look through the WTOC Jamie Casino traffic tracker. It is a mess. Lots of tree damage. Obviously, it's an open space over here on the island, just past the Talmadge Bridge, so the wind really came through here and did a mess to landscaping. But the good news, any high water lines I have seen while over the curb and into people's property out here, it looks like it's below the threshold to get into any home. So you're going to arrive here. If you live out on the island, there's a ton of wind damage, but it appears cosmetic. Maybe a few shingles, a lot of landscaping, but as far as water issues, water damage out here, what everybody may have feared, good news in this area, no apparent water damage.
All right, that's Cutter Martin out in the WTOC Jamie Casino traffic tracker. Just very quickly, if we could come back to Congressman Buddy Carter, I just want to talk for a minute as he talked about the water there. We were watching the Savannah River very closely. It did do some flooding over its banks. Governor Nathan Deal said they were watching the river very closely and they were able to see it from our coverage down on the river. So have you had any reports about the river? I know the Army Corps of Engineers, I'm sure, are back and they're checking things out.
They are, and that's a great question. You know, there's a 4-part process that we have to go through, that the commander of the port of Savannah and Brunswick has to go through in order to allow traffic to start back up through the ports. First is the assessment. They've done the assessment. Now the Corps got to get in and do their own assessment to see if there was any shifting of the sand of the silt and to see if it's still navigable. And then, but the main thing is the aids to navigation. A lot of those disrupted, and they've got to get those back in place and replace some of them. So that's going to be the key. I spoke to the commander of the ports earlier today, and she assured us that they were doing everything they could to get the ports back open. Best case scenario, it will be 72 hours. Worst case scenario, if there is extensive damage, there's just no telling.
Right. 72 hours from now?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Right. Yes, but that's the best case scenario.
Best case scenario.
The priority, of course, is to get the ports reopened, but they're also going to be inspecting to see if there was anything that might delay the dredging process as well.
That's exactly right. We are fortunate that we have the dredging equipment here, and that if there was any shifting, that we'll be able to at least address it pretty quickly.
A lot of people coming back into town today. They were the re-entry was lifted at 5 p.m. yesterday. Didn't really see as heavy of traffic as we might have expected. So what are we looking at right now? Okay, I-75 traffic in Macon. So I think a lot of people stayed in place, as was recommended last night. Now they're trying to get on I-16. The police, Georgia State Patrol, will be out there assisted by some of the military as people get to these intersections with 16, and then they're going to be trying to get off to come into this area.
And then as these cars return to town, the issue of the lights comes back up, because now traffic increases. You have more people on the road, people who might not have heard the information about these lights being out and how to proceed. Just so everybody knows, it defaults to a four-way stop when there's not a light at a four-way intersection, doesn't it?
You have to keep saying that.
Yes.
Over and over and over again. I'm pretty amazed at the progress that's been made each day that we've been out on the roads. You went out Friday, really bad. Saturday, passable. Yesterday, remarkable difference. And then even this morning. So a lot of people are going to be coming back into an area, some that's very easy to get through. Others they're still going to have problems with. So what are your plans for today?
Well, we'll be all throughout the district. They're calling for volunteers, and we'll be volunteering. So, you know, go home, change clothes. And get out there and see what we can do to help.
Okay.
Fantastic.
What they told us one more time. Tell us where. Okay, we're going to get a power update. Georgia Power. Don Lagana is going to give us that right now.
Yeah, doing a Georgia Power update.
Go. You're live.
Well, right now we have a Georgia Power update. I'm in Madison Square. They have trees down and all over the area, including downtown Savannah. And in Madison Square, some of the trees have already been moved from some of these streets. But take a look at this tree, an old historic oak, just ripped out from the roots here. You can see the bricks, and this is going to be a huge project to try to remove from the square here. But Georgia Power telling me they started out 119,000 people without power as of yesterday. This morning, the number went down to 109. Right now, it's around 103,000 people. They had crews staged out at Planet Fitness this morning and in different locations as they continue to assess the damages. One of the things people need to remember as they're trying to wait for their power to come on, we know that it's very hard to be without power, and Georgia Power said they understand that too, but there's a lot of different factors involved as they continue to try to get the power back on. Trees like this one that may have fallen on a power line. This one didn't hit any, but in a lot of these neighborhoods there are cables everywhere, power lines that came down. They have to remove those trees.
Okay. We just lost Don down there, but he was in one of the squares where the residents have already started cleaning up.
Exactly. We do have, want to get one more thing from Buddy, but we're going to take a break, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to tell you how you can get in touch with your congressman to let him know how things are going. Don't go away.